Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have had technical difficulties in uploading to YouTube the recording of the very first live class for Noahides, and that was a Zoom class. In the mean, very briefly giving you a bit of an overview of what was discussed in that first class. Hopefully these difficulties will be rectified before the second class. So we had an overview of Tanach, and what we discussed in that was the what is Tanach, what does it contain, the Tanach's relevance for Gentiles, Noahides, and which part of the Torah are most relevant for Gentiles or Noahides to study. So that was the overview and the content actually. So again, I will very briefly show you. I actually had to transfer the slides, the PowerPoint slides that I used into actual paper notes so that I could bring it up on the screen for you. And we discussed what Tanakh is, and some people refer to it as the Old Testament, and the correct name is Tanakh. And the Tanakh contains the Torah, which are the 5 books of Moses. And you may be able to see those. That's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Then we have, you go over to the far side here and you have the prophets, and that's sometimes called the Nevi'im, and you'll see that there are a list of prophets there, all of which are interesting. And then in the center here, you will see it's got the writings, or sometimes referred to as the Ketuvim. And they're things you would all be familiar with, I imagine. Psalms, Proverbs, Job, Song of Songs, Ruth, Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Chronicles. So just to refresh your memory, when we talk about Tanakh, some people of other faiths refer to it as the Old Testament. The correct name is Tanakh, and it's briefly broken up into 3 sections. Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses, the writings, or called the sacred scriptures, and the prophets, often referred to as Nevi'im. So that was what we looked at. Now, we also discussed a timeline of when the prophets were around the time they were, and it was before Common Era, and time does not permit me now to redo all that timeline, but it is quite interesting. We're talking about timelines of around before and about 700 before Common Era, around about that approximate time. Now, we have to be aware of what the recommended Torah readings and study are for Noahides and Gentiles. And that's contained in Genesis, and I've written a list here of the chapters and the actual verses, and I'd like to just get that in there a bit closer for you. And you can see here we're looking at Genesis chapter 1 verses 26 to 30, Genesis chapter 2 verses 15 to 25, chapters 3 and 4 possibly all, chapter 5 verse 1 to 32, chapter 6 verse 1 to 22, chapter 7 verses 1 to 24, and Genesis chapter 8 verses 1 to 22, Genesis chapter 9, 1 to 19. So that is a brief overview. Now, these are the things that Noahides and Gentiles really need to be familiar with and understand and study. So they're very relevant for all mankind. Extremely relevant verses in Genesis and chapters in Genesis. So that's that. Now, there was also, I had a reference page up, which is, I'm just going to very briefly show you this, because what you will find is this will sort of continue on with every lesson, and I'll add to this reference page if there's anything else we need to add to it. Now, you will see a couple of things I really want to draw your attention to is that up here is my website, the link there, and my Noahide family website, and also the YouTube channel called My Noahide Family. There's a couple of other groups of videos that I have made for other organisations that, again, those linkages will be on my website as well, and the website link will be in the description box below. They were called Noahide Essential Principles and 7 Gates of Righteous Knowledge. Now, Noahide Essential Principles, I think, has got about 9 or 10 videos, and the 7 Gates of Righteous Knowledge, I'm not sure, but I think there's about 18 videos in that course. That's all free. They're all available on YouTube. Very good if you're just new to learning about the Noahide laws and way of life, but most interesting for any Gentile. So please avail yourself of those free videos. I've also put down here, there are 2 books of prayer available for Noahides, and one is, they're both available. One's called Community Service and Personal Worship, asknoah.org, and there is also a book out called The Divine Code, which I recommend everybody, every Gentile should have a copy of it. It outlines very clearly and precisely as well, the laws, 7 Noahide laws, and how they apply to us. So again, the links are there. They're both available through asknoah.org. So that I will add to that reference list as time goes by. Hopefully the technological issues that I'm having will be rectified shortly, and I apologise for the inconvenience, but I was anxious just for you at least to get a very brief summary of what was discussed and in that first live class. There'll also be a perpetual link in the description box below, the link that will take you to the live Zoom classes every Wednesday, Queensland time in Australia, that is, every Wednesday 10 a.m. The link will be down below in the description box where you can join the actual live Zoom classes where you'll see slides, etc. And they'll be a little bit more in depth, certainly, than this video that I've put up today. But I was just very sorry that I had technological issues, and I haven't been able to rectify them completely. I believe it's an issue with my system this end. But in the meantime, I thought some notification and information was better than none. So that's just to bring you up to speed. Now, hopefully next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, things will be fixed and back to normal. But in the meantime, again, I apologise, but please take care of yourselves and God bless.